can have everyone's attention, we'll get started. I'm Alan Valentine, President and CEO of the Symphony, and it's a great pleasure for me to welcome all of you here tonight to this very special occasion. We celebrate tonight not just the opening of our concert season, but we celebrate Maestro Guerrero's 10th anniversary with the orchestra. The unveiling of a remarkable new work of art. So on behalf of the entire Nashville Symphony, I'd like to begin by thanking Dr. Z and Tanya Radic for their very special role in making this possible. The Radics, of course, have been longtime patrons of the Symphony. They love the Symphony and wanted to find a special way to mark the occasion of this anniversary for Giancarlo and his 10th season as music director. So they generously commissioned sculptor Alicia Ponzio, who is also with us tonight, to create a cast bronze bust of Giancarlo, which they have gifted to the Nashville Symphony. So our gratitude to all of you for this generous gift. Everywhere you look around this building, and believe me, I know what every detail of it is and what the origin of those details were, but you see art and architecture that reflects the rich history not only of our institution, the Nashville Symphony, but also of our community. And this gift will enhance all of that in immeasurable ways. It will also really speak to the impact that Giancarlo has had on the orchestra in his 10 years. And I would imagine there isn't a person in this room tonight that doesn't understand just how incredible that impact has been. So Giancarlo, we have you to understand. Just to name a few of the things, of course, the quality of the orchestra has just continued to climb. It's been very obvious in the concert hall, but it's also been recognized by our peers with a host of Grammy Awards and other kinds of recognition. And I think it's given everyone in our community a really deep and abiding sense of ownership in the orchestra. So in addition to that, what you may not realize is that Maestro has repeatedly demonstrated his commitment to music education and to our community, provided inspiration to lots and lots and lots of young musicians in our community. So we're grateful for that as well. We're grateful for all of those contributions. We're thrilled to have you here. It's an honor for me to call you my friend and colleague. And we have a lot more work ahead of us and a lot more to do, so stay tuned and stay engaged. And again, thank you to Tanya and Dr. Z for your generosity, and to Alicia for your producing this stunning work of art. And it's my pleasure now to introduce Gary Haynes of Haynes Galleries, who represents Alicia. So Gary, please.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you very much for sharing this special moment with us this evening. First, let me say how exciting this project has been. I knew when Dr. Z and Tanya Radic decided to offer a sculpture bust to honor Giancarlo's soon-to-be decade with the symphony, that Alicia Ponzio would not only do an impressive piece, but I knew she would go far beyond creating just a mere likeness to capture the maestro's very expressive personality. He is such a dynamic person, as you well know, and any portrait done of him would have to capture the essence of that and go much deeper. I knew with her unique talent that she could capture that essence of the character, as well as the passion that he exhibits in everything that he does. Before we unveil the bust, I would like to share just a little bit about the immensely gifted sculptor who created it, Alicia Ponzio. Alicia's path to becoming one of the most celebrated and the finest representational sculptures in the country, has been a winding one. Before she modeled clay, she treated the servicemen and women of the United States Navy as a nurse. In fact, she was Lieutenant Ponzio did. While those were very fulfilling years, they really didn't satisfy her creative nature. And it was during this time that she began to explore a long life interest in fine art, and specifically in sculpture. And decided that sculpture was really where she wanted to focus, and that her talents could best be realized. Alicia never does anything halfway, so she traveled to Florence, Italy, to study and train at the Florence Academy of Art, a very rigorous and classically inspired academy. In the 10 years since she completed her training, Alicia has been creating outstanding work in clay, in plaster, and in bronze from her San Francisco studio. I've shown her work in my gallery for years, and each piece just ceases to amaze me. They're remarkably human. They are filled with lots of emotion, movement, and a lot of life. She creates real drama in small pieces as well as large ones. And she's passionate about her work as Giancarlo, excuse me, is not his. I'm not the only one that sings Alicia's praises. She's received national and international recognition and honors from the Art Renewal Center, the Catherine Royard Wolf Art Club, the Portrait Society of America, the California Art Club, the National Portrait Gallery, National Portrait Society. And in 2016, she was awarded the Alex J. Edel Grant. And this past year, she was chosen to design the 2018-19 medal, the longest running medal in the U.S. And she was an artist in residence in Big Breeze Gardens in South Carolina before that selection. Alicia is found in private galleries throughout North America and Europe, and I'm thrilled that she lets me show her work. And she is also, Alicia, as a teacher. She regularly teaches workshops, including the Pixar Studios and the University of Calgary. And it is my great pleasure and with much pride that I introduce Alicia and Ponzio.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? And thank you to Gary for that lovely introduction. Much appreciated. For this project, a couple of ideas have been reinforced for me, but I wanted to talk about art and what it means to me. Whether it be music, dance, sculpture, or poetry, art is a positive act. It's a force that brings people together. And what's more, it inspires thoughts, feelings, ideas, and questions. In a direct way, sculpture brought Gary Haynes into my life 7 years ago, and since then he's been more than just a gallerist, although he's done a great job at that. He's been a mentor to me. Through Gary, I met Dr. Z and Tanya Radic, and they had a vision to honor Maestro Guerrero on around the 10th anniversary of his affiliation with the National Symphony and the Schermerhorn. I'm grateful that they invited me to take part in this tribute to Giancarlo. Tanya and Dr. Z in turn introduced me to the music of Giancarlo Guerrero and the National Symphony, expanding my appreciation of music. And while the project brought new challenges and joys to my life and career. It's music and art that have brought all of us here together tonight. And as we listen to Giancarlo's music and the National Symphony, we'll be thinking, feeling, learning, and wondering together. This is the power of art to inspire us. It is a rare and precious event for a portrait artist to be able to unveil their sculpture in the same evening that you'll be able to see the subject of that sculpture performed. So this is a very powerful and important moment for me, for which I'm very, very grateful. My hope is that you'll see his intensity as an artist and his joy in creating music in the portrait, echoed in the portrait that I have created of him. Thank you, and I hope you all have an enjoyable evening.
A moment of truth. We need everybody over here. Yeah, I think
You should do that.
please stand next to the window.
Okay, let's do it.
Ready?
Yeah, I guess you do notice the hair. When I was first approached about this project, I have to be honest, there was a part of me that was a little hesitant because obviously I just really didn't know what to make of it. And now that I see it, it's a feeling that I've never experienced before. To be associated with this wonderful institution, with this beautiful city, for 10 years now, have been the greatest joy, not only for me, but for my family as well. But now to know and to think that I will be forever associated with the National Symphony, it's beyond any dream or anything that I could have thought of, because it is such a great honor and a privilege to make music for every single one of you. It's an absolute privilege for those of us to come on stage and bring you unforgettable musical experiences. And none of this is possible without you. Without your support, without your cheering us on, I could not do what you asked me to do. And to see this is just beyond humbling. I am beyond grateful to Dr. Z and Tanya for this beautiful gift. So that's all I can. As I said, I'm processing many emotions right now that are brand new to me. And of course, to the wonderful Alicia Ponzio, for whom I am beyond speechless. You know, I only posed for her for a couple of hours during the eclipse. I watched the eclipse at home, and then I got in the car and went to the Ames Gallery and posed for her. And to see this now, like over a year later, it's incredible. So all I have to say is thank you to every single one of you for this beautiful gift, but more importantly, I want to thank every single one of our wonderful audiences, volunteers, and staff, our board of directors. You make this institution what it is every single day, and I cannot imagine a better way to continue expanding the role that the National Symphony has in this community. Today is the first day of school, and we're opening, celebrating perhaps one of the most important musical figures in the universe, Leonard Bernstein. You're in for a very, very special treat. Trust me, you know all this music by heart. You're going to be singing along. Do so. You want to dance? Do so. This is Nashville. We celebrate music, we love it, we enjoy it. Thank you very much for all of you.